Coming up, could this week get any more exciting?
You're listening to Double Tap, your daily accessible technology show. Now, here's your hosts, Stephen Scott and Shaun Priest.
Hey, Shaun Priest, how you doing today?
Wow. I am great, thank you, Stephen Scott. And now I'm excited by the news that something exciting is coming along again. What have we got?
More news!
Breaking
More
news.
breaking news. With this breaking news, you're spoiling us, Stephen Scott.
Oh, well, you know, I like to spoil you, Shaun Priest, with my
Thank you very
breaking
much.
news. Not breaking
What is
news,
it?
breaking news. This is big, and this involves someone we know very well.
Mr. F.
Yes. We can
Yes.
exclusively reveal, and I tell you, no other podcast will be... Listen, and Karthik Karnan might have found himself on every podcast going yesterday, but here at Double Tap, there's only one place you're going to get this news, right here, and that is that Double Tap is returning for a 9th season. It's confirmed. We're staying on the air.
Oh, God bless you,
Oh,
Mr. F.
Mr. F. What a man.
Mr. F.
9 seasons. Number 9.
9.
I can't quite believe that.
No one else can either, including, I think, most of the management team at AMI. Me as well, and everyone involved in this program, and all the listeners. But apart from that, you know what? It's a great day, and it's a really nice thing to be able to say that. We're so pleased to be here doing this every day. It blows my mind that this is what we do.
Yes.
And to other people too. But no, honestly, it's so wonderful. And I'm so glad that we're back for another season starting September 1st. Of course, if you're on podcast and YouTube, everything continues as normal. Although we will be, I think it's time for some new sound effects. We need some new people, new voices, some new
yes.
effects.
Do you want me to work on that, or are you going to just...
No, I was thinking
Okay.
maybe getting them
Yeah.
for the next season, if that was possible. Not for the 10th
unbelievable.
or the 11th.
All right. Okay. What have you got on the board right now, Stephen Scott? Can we just have a quick rundown?
Rundown. Okay, so we got the dog. Dog is here, of
Dog,
course.
yes.
Yeah.
Barely used. Yep, okay.
Absolutely. No, it absolutely has been. The cat's there as well, just in
yes.
case.
Myth the cat.
Obviously, Cookie Monster. I have to say, thank you, bye-bye. Not so many of the cookies these days. I'm cutting back on the cookies.
Good. Everyone's happy about that. Next.
That's right. And of course, shock horror. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry. I didn't know where you were going with that. I get you now. Okay, that one's good. I like that one.
That one's kept for, we don't know about season 10 yet. That's, we're holding on with that one, just in case. Maybe,
Another
do you know
season.
what we should have done? I didn't think. I should have done it this way. I should have said we get big breaking news. Drum roll, please. Oh, there it is. That's what I should have done.
I've got to say,
I failed you
it
all.
starts off well, that one, Stephen Scott, and there's a bit of an anticlimax at the end.
What?
Can you mix
What's
it
wrong
with
with that?
something?
What do you mean, did I mix it with something? What are you talking about?
Well, it
What,
feels
do you
like
think,
it needs
I
something-
made that myself?
No, I don't think you've got a timpani. Is that what it's called? Handy. But it just feels like it just drops off at the end. You need a sound effect at the end of that. Get ready with your fingers. Boring.
Yeah, whatever. Right, moving on. And that's a new one. Okay, so... You're going to hear that a lot, I promise you. You're going to hear that a lot over the coming
breaking
year. I am
news.
sure.
We haven't been cancelled.
No, that's right. Yeah, there's always two ways to look at a story, isn't there, really? It's like, breaking news, we've been renewed for a 9th season. Also, that means we're not being cancelled. Congratulations, us.
Skin of our teeth.
I think you're probably right. I think also, if I'm honest, Mr. F is a little bit fed up with us begging on the air. Please keep us on air. Please don't cancel us. So I think it was the case. Right, do you know what? Just, okay, whatever. Fine. Just stay.
I'm not proud. I don't have dignity.
No,
Thank you
certainly
very
don't.
much.
Yeah, I know. I've seen you eat. Okay, so Envision glasses yesterday. Well, I say that. Ally Solos glasses. I believe the first round of pre-orders is sold out already. You're welcome. But I believe that's true, yeah. I believe it because Karthik Karnan has been tweeting and posting on their social media with the news. So yeah, clearly a lot of interest in these already. Is this a surprise to you? Because, I think there's a lot of people out there with the Meta Ray-Bans, but clearly not everybody has gone down that road or have decided to give these a go. I think the price point is the seller here.
Of course it is. Yeah, absolutely. It brings it in line. Look, if the Echo Visions came out tomorrow, if I'm trying to think of the other ones that are out there we're waiting on.
Well, we've got a Giga, right? We've got the Echo Visions from a Giga coming into the US first.
Which is exactly what I just said.
Is it?
But
I thought you said something else.
If the Echo Vision...
I'm still high on the news that we're breaking this morning.
Yeah, we were celebrating last night with... buckets of KFC.
We're going to bed at 9 o'clock, yeah. I'm so excited. I need to go to bed.
So what I'm saying is, look, there's a desire for smart glasses. Of course there is. We want to see, again, it comes down to the potential. The Ray-Bans, they're here. They're not perfect, but they're the ones that are here, right? So the fact that these are, well, kind of available, we can pre-order them. They will be here soon. I think people are going to be all over these.
Yeah.
It's not until we get them in our hands or on our heads that we're really going to say, yes, these do what we want them to do.
Apologies to Greg, who I think felt like we were doing some kind of infomercial yesterday on the show, because halfway into the episode, he had decided he wasn't going to pre-order them. He was going to download the Ally app and have it play. And then halfway through the episode, he said, you know what, sod it, I'm just going to go and buy them. So, sorry, Greg.
Well, hang on. Why is that our fault? That's not our fault. Wait and see. That is a really good tip, by the way. As Karthik said, download the Ally app and try it out, because whatever you can do is what those glasses will be doing. So whatever Ally can do in that app on your phone is exactly what you'll be able to do with the glasses. And I'm going to say a caveat on that, on launch, because as Karthik did say, they're adding extra features further down the line. Can we rely on, coming soon features? I wouldn't pre-order on, well, it's coming soon, because you just don't know how development is going to go. But what we can know is that whatever you can do on the Ally app on your smartphone right now is what you'll be able to do on the glasses. So if you do like that, then yeah, why not? Go for the glasses.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, this, because obviously the thing with AI is it's evolving all the time. So you're always getting these new updated models that these companies are working with. And look, let's be brutally honest here. All these companies, no matter who they are, unless it's Google, unless it's Apple, unless it's Meta, they are the ones really driving the innovation from their end, right? Because they are creating the models that are being used on all of this. So the work they are doing, you need to watch closely, because if, and I'm not sure exactly what it is that Ally runs on, if it's Meta's Llama or whether it's ChatGPT or what it runs, or maybe it's a combination of all, I don't know.
I read a combination, Llama, Gemini, and Perplexity as well, I read somewhere. So, but I don't know officially what it's running on. But,
you have to watch their innovations, because that's what will feed through to these models, and this is kind of probably a little bit unusual in our world to see this, so it's like a perfect example of this is that video that was put out by Be My Eyes. Remember that one where Andy, the guy in the video, was hailing a taxi, and the video was telling him the taxi was approaching. We all got so excited and we're like, oh, this is amazing. Yes. When's that coming? And, Be My Eyes were right. And Mike Buckley, CEO, said to us on the show, look, I kind of wish we hadn't put that out, because we were kind of telling people what was coming, but it was so far down the line. But we have no control over that, right? That's OpenAI. So, if OpenAI announced this, and I kind of thought when ChatGPT 5 was launched, we might see this appear as part of it. But can I be honest? I don't really see what the big deal was about ChatGPT 5. I remember at the time, I think maybe a year ago, it was like, end of the world comes when ChatGPT 5 gets launched. And apparently now it's less smart than the other one. I'm like, what's going on? So, we're kind of driven by these companies and their advances. And it's true when people say, whatever you experience with AI today, it will be the worst experience you'll ever have compared to what it's going to be like in 5-10 years. It's going to be a different world then, and it will resolve itself. Think what the internet was like back in 1993. It was dreadful. You wouldn't spend more than a minute or two on there because there was no point.
Well, I used to spend days on there. But yes, no, you're absolutely right. But it's funny. I've seen the Thank you. I've seen the backlash. I was waiting for a Homer Simpson sound.
I was thinking about it there, but yeah. I'm going to use it sparingly. I'm not going to just use it all the time just because it's sitting there.
Oh, boring. Was I saying? Oh, yeah, ChatGPT 5. I've seen the backlash. There has been a bit of a pushback about that.
Yeah.
But what I find interesting is rather than, it's not quite as clever, or it doesn't do this task as well as GPT-4, and I like to choose my models rather than having it decide, people are saying, yeah, I don't like the personality. And I find that
Yeah, I
really
saw that as well. What on earth was that about?
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, it feels like I've lost a friend. It's changed. I've got to say, I hate, excuse me, I hate the new voice in ChatGPT. It sounds like it's, it sounds like me. It's stumbling
Sounds
all
like
the
me.
time. It sounds, it sounds very human-like. That's the first thing Sarah said. I usually use Copilot, right? And for whatever reason, I was asking a question. I thought, I'll ask ChatGPT and check out this new 5. And she said, that voice sounds so, I thought you were on the phone to someone, you know? It sounds so real. But after about 2 or 3 minutes, it's like, yeah, can I change that voice? Because it's in all the time. And it's, well, you can do this. It sounds like, you know, like it's drunk. It's really strange,
But is that
really realistic.
I don't know. Because we live in a world of audio, are we different in that regard? Because it's like, you know, look how fast we like our screen readers. Look how, you know, eloquence is still a big deal in the blind community when it comes to a screen reader. That robotic voice. It's about speed and efficiency of information, right? So, you know, we're not looking for a conversational AI to guide us through our computer. I think it's actually up to the left. You want to click that button. Oh, hang
Yeah.
on, maybe it's to the right. You know, I don't want
Give
that.
me
I
the
want it
info.
just to get me button. I want to know exactly where I'm going. So maybe we're just tuned to that or tuned to that speed. Because it's like, I've said this many times, when you start out using a screen reader, your screen reader voice is generally very slow. And then over time, you'll start to realize that, oh, this is actually annoying me now. I'll just speed it up a little bit. And then you suddenly realize you're at 80%. And
Yes.
you're at the place where you remember listening to other people use a screen reader and go, God, I remember when I used to think, how does anyone understand that? Because that's what all the sighted people say to me, right? How can you listen to that? And
of
it's
course,
like, well,
yeah.
you tune yourself to it, right? But then when
well,
you
the
get
trouble is-
AI, if it's not, I mean, I've sped up my Lady A voice, right? My Lady A voice, I'm like, that's just too slow.
fastest.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, AI should be at the level where I can say, you know what, stop talking like that and get to the point. I do say that. Don't ask me any questions when you answer me.
Oh.
Because how do you feel about
Wow.
that, Sean?
I'll
Are
tell
you
you when
going
the
to try
robots-
that, Sean?
When the robots turn
Yeah.
against us,
I mean,
I'm worrying for you.
Well, they're so polite; they're not going to say anything. So, but yeah,
Wait till they get
you
arms
are
and
right.
legs, then you've got problems.
But I just thought that was interesting. It shows that we are forming this relationship. You know,
Mm-hmm.
my thoughts about this being used as a companion and a social sort of crutch, if you will, to people. You know, as a
Oof, that's an interesting word to
loneliness.
use. Crutch. Wow, that's
Well,
an interesting
yes,
one.
it's a perfectly valid word to use, Stephen
No, it is,
Scott.
but it's an interesting choice because it kind of suggests that we're using it in a way to avoid human contact or because we
Well, not
don't want to
avoid.
have.
Well, no. I don't think. I think human. Look, socializing and isolation is a big issue, and it can be slightly embarrassing to admit that, but it is for us. I mean, you've only got to look at when was it Ira launched, or even Be My Eyes. The amount of minutes that people were using just having a conversation with someone, because that may be the only conversation, the only contact they would have, because it's difficult to get out there and socialize when you can't see. So, I think it's perfectly. You know, like I say, it can be a little bit embarrassing to admit that, but we do get lonely, right? It is an issue.
Of course, yeah.
So AI, I honestly still think that AI isn't a solution to that. I just don't think it is. Or maybe it's a solution that we shouldn't look towards. But it's obviously happening. People are forming that relationship.
Well, actually, that's a topic we're going to be covering soon on one of our extra episodes because a good friend of mine wants to come on and talk about that. So, yeah, stay tuned to the extra feed. Now, instantly, just a little programming note for you. Boring. I know. But here's the thing. I got to tell you about this. So we were planning to put... I do like that. I was planning to put out an episode on Saturday last week of the Double Tap Extra, which included a conversation with someone I had spoken to a little while ago by the name of Ken Scott. Now, Ken has been in touch with the show. He considers himself a contrarian when it comes to the whole argument around Braille literacy and the need for Braille learning. And he had sent me many, many emails that I thought, you know, were brilliant and really well written. And I thought we could read these emails out, but I kind of feel like I would rather have a conversation with him and really understand more about what he's been thinking, how he's thinking, and challenge some of those views as well. So I got him on. We got him on the phone and we had a chat with him. Well, I did actually. It was a little while ago. And we'd been sitting on it because for various reasons, we thought, well, let's put this out and we'll blah, blah, blah. So anyway, the long story is we're going to put it out on the extra feed and that will be going out this weekend. So check that out. Saturday, we generally push that out. So check that out on the Double Tap extra feed. Now, some people are still asking me how to find it. Just ask your smart speaker or check in your podcast app. If you're not finding it, let us know where you're not finding it and we'll make sure it gets there. So Double Tap Extra is the name of the podcast feed. It is a separate feed to the Double Tap one. So if you have the Double Tap podcast, you are fine. But if you want access to the extra, just search for Double Tap Extra wherever you get your podcasts or ask your smart speaker and it will hopefully play it to you. And it will usually, if it's on the Echo, it'll play it via Apple Podcasts if you've got that set up. Although I think it might just do it itself anyway. I don't know how that works necessarily, but it seems to do that with mine.
Yeah. I searched for double space tap in the Apple podcast app. And the first few are all gaming related, it looks like.
Or zombies.
So, yes, or zombies. But there are...
Or other things.
We are in there under Double Tap Productions. So you'll know it's us by Double Tap Productions.
We were complaining the other day, whinging and whining and moaning, I believe, about
Which time?
Yeah, exactly. When are we not doing that? Yeah, that's a good point. Specifically, we were talking about NVDA, and I was complaining about the start menu issue that I was having.
Oh, yes. Welcome to the party, pal. Yeah,
I know
exactly.
you've been moaning about it for a while.
Months.
I didn't care then, though, because it wasn't affecting me.
You didn't. Yeah. Selfish.
But it isn't affecting me now, or it isn't affecting me now because there's been an update.
Where was the drum roll?
Hang on. It's not affecting me now because there's been an update. See, if we planned this... If we planned this, it would sound so boring, wouldn't it? It would sound so pathetic. It would sound so contrived. I'm not playing it again. No, you're not getting it that way. That's not how it works.
There was an update to NVDA 2025.2, which did fix. Oh, did it though? Can we say that, Stephen Scott? Are we absolutely sure?
It fixed me. Well, not me, but the program. I wish you could fix me. Could I get an update? I'd like an update.
No. The start menu issue was that you would bring up the start menu and you would type, whatever, Edge or WhatsApp or Word. And instead of typing into the text field, it would think you were doing quick nav. So it would say no next table, no next landmark, no next button. And it was a real problem, actually. It didn't do it consistently, but did it enough to be really annoying. So it does say in the release notes that it has improved performance and problems issues in the start menu. Now, the only reason I say has it fixed it, because it just said improved. I've got to say, since I updated yesterday, I've had no issues whatsoever. It's so much better. So well done, NV Access.
Yeah. Rolling out the update, clearly listening to the show, hearing our whinging and whining, and decided to get it fixed. Absolutely nothing to do with the hundreds and thousands of people who probably were in touch on a fairly regular basis telling people about this problem. But we'll take the credit.
The update came just as the day we were complaining about it, I feel. So if they did do it as a response to the show...
How fast are these people? Quick. Honestly, they are so quick at what they do. They're brilliant. Listen, amazing work that's being done there. And also just to say as well, actually, on the whole JAWS pricing front, we're going to be speaking to Stuart Lawler from Sight and Sound Technology on Monday's show. So we'll hopefully be getting a bit more clarity around what is actually going on. I'm not holding out hope, but we'll see. Stuart's joining us. And, I can't pin this on Sight and Sound because this is Vespero pricing, right? But I am intrigued to know what Sight and Sound have got to say on this. They are the UK distributor for JAWS and Zoom Text and Fusion. So we'll get the very latest update on that. Okay, I think we should move on to some emails, don't you?
Yes.
We get email.
Thank you.
We get your email every day.
Ding dong.
Here's your mail today.
Fish.
Beautiful. Okay, let's get into the emails then. First up.
Gentlemen, I've been listening to your rants, babbling, and interesting discussions for a couple of years now. I've often thought of weighing in, but, well, you know how that story ends. Anyway, I have more time and fewer distractions these days, so here's some food for consideration. Today, the two of you are talking about storage devices, using PCs within your home networks. Have you ever considered or heard of something called a NAS device, Network Appliance Server? I have one of these, and while the interface to manage it is awkward and difficult to use, I have access to about 10 terabytes of data storage accessible to anyone who has access to my Wi-Fi network. The device I use is a Synology 416 Play. It's reasonably responsive, and in 10 years, I've only had one of the 4 terabyte drives crash. Thoughts? Louis Greco.
Okay, thank you for that. I did consider it, yes. The only issue for me was cost, because it's a really expensive solution. Now, it is, I guess, I know you might be saying, well, it is, but you can buy it in stages, right? You can buy the unit, you can buy a couple of hard drives, you can build it up over time, because some of these devices come with 4 bays, or they come with 8 bays, and that allows you to put a number of hard drives in. The way I understand it, Shaun, tell me if I'm wrong, I'm sure I am, but the idea is that you have, say, 8 bays in there, so you could have 4 hard drives of, say, let's say 10 terabytes. That's 40 terabytes if you needed that much. And you could put another 4 in there with another 40 terabytes, and essentially the usable space, even though you have 80 terabytes in there, the usable space is actually 40, right? Because it's essentially mirroring. It's mirroring via the other drives. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Well, it does depend on how you set it up. I would say the 2 basic ways of setting up, it's called RAID. You could have it so that it's striped or mirrored. Mirrored means that you get a complete backup of your drives. So you'd half the space, like you just mentioned there. So you're absolutely right. Striped means that the data is striped across all the drives. So it's a speed. That's more for performance, because your drive is only writing, half amount of data, and the other drives are writing that in sequence. So it's all a lot faster. But there's other ways of doing that as well that gives you slightly more space, and you can lose one drive and still build it back up and not lose any data. RAID 5, RAID 10, it all gets a little bit nerdy. But basically, yeah, that's right. I do want to flag up something, though. I'm old school here. Network Appliance Server. Now, I always thought NAS, and was always taught that NAS was Network Attached Storage, especially in this case. Maybe Network Appliance Server is something else now in the day of the smart home. But Network Attached Storage, when we talk about Synology, which is the biggest brand and possibly the most accessible NAS storage option out there, it's just the price for me. And we found a workaround for this, Stephen Scott.
We did, and you can listen to a special episode if you get to that extra feed. I'm going to suggest you go listen to that. I've got to say, if ever there was a use for this, I'm telling you, because I was comatose by the end of that, I tell you. But it was very interesting, I think, to those who stayed awake till the end, because we talked about this app called Tailscale. Now, in all seriousness, this is an amazing little application, which is free. And yes, you can basically connect or just install it on your device. If you've got a hard drive connected to your computer, you can basically turn it into exactly that, right? A network-attached storage device. Now, of course, there's lots of ways to do this, in particular at home. You can just share a drive. You don't need to install any software, right? You can make a drive available on your network just by going into the share properties, which Shaun can explain in more detail. But, if you use something like... Okay, no, we can't. No, I have to go somewhere else for that information. Sorry. Yeah. But for Tailscale, what it lets you do is connect to that computer and that particular drive outside of your network. So if you wanted to be away or on the move, and I'll give you an example, when I'd set this up, I was on a train in Britain with Wi-Fi. I was amazed. I think I had Wi-Fi access for at least 3 minutes. And I was able to attach to that drive, and literally as if I was sitting in front of that computer, connected to the drive that is attached to that computer. Now, I'm not connecting to the computer to do this. I'm just literally, accessing the drive like I would if it was connected to the laptop itself. And it was speedy, it was fast, and it let me do what I needed to do, which I thought was absolutely amazing. What got me about Tailscale, and it was a good friend, Tim Dixon, who's on the episode, who actually told us about it. I think you knew about it already, though, didn't you? You knew about it.
No, that's the first time I heard about it. No, I've looked into something like this before, but it was the accessibility and the ease, how simple it was to set up.
Yeah, so accessible. It takes a little bit of setting up. It's not a huge amount, to be fair. I managed it. I think that says all you need to know.
We blundered through.
We did. Basically, you set up a Tailscale account on the website. You then download the application. mean, it's like any other way of setting up, isn't it? I mean, you just set up an account, you set up, and there's lots of other user access settings and things you can do on the website. But really, for simple access, you can, set up an account, download the app, get it installed. And once you've installed it, what's happening then is it's kind of dependent on your local settings. So going into that whole thing about sharing a drive, once you've made that drive available, then suddenly you've got someone able to access it on the other side. Now, they have to have an account, a Tailscale account. You need to add them to your account by, sending them an invite link. And there's a little bit of a process there. And again, we go into all this on the extras, so, it'd be worth listening to that. But it was actually very simple, and I was quite impressed at how not only simple it was, with a little bit of knowledge. I would say it's mid-level rather than beginner level in terms of knowledge. But, it was certainly accessible, and that was brilliant for me. I was very impressed.
It just, you know what? It just works. To nick an Apple phrase, it just works. Basically, it's like I'm part of Stephen's home Wi-Fi now, and Stephen is part of mine. So I can access that hard drive anytime I like. It's just on my home Wi-Fi. And that's what Tailscale does, rather than having to tinker with router settings and forward ports and
that's right, none of that.
firewalls. You don't have to do any of that. All you do, install the app, add my network to Stephen's network, bang, everything on there I can see. And again, it's all protected as well. I can't access absolutely everything on Stephen's, just the thing he gives me access to. But yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. And that's exactly what a NAS would do as well. It's just something you plug in, basically just like a standalone computer you plug in, which is just full of hard disks. But there is an expense to there, and there's an expense to that, as you mentioned, filling up with hard drives in the first place. But secondly, accessibility is a real issue with those NAS drives. Synology has improved a hell of a lot, but even during the setup, as far as I remember, process, accessibility can be a bit of an issue. And when you look at the other third parties aside from Synology, such as Ugreen and QNAP, and there's lots of other ones out there, accessibility is virtually non-existent. So we've got no choice if you want to do it yourself.
Well, and again, it's untested in the market, right? It always takes someone to make the decision to leap. I see so many people reviewing the Ugreen NAS, which is out there just now. Ugreen are kind of known for their chargers and their cables and, lots of things that you buy on Amazon. You probably see the Ugreen name come up a lot, and they're a pretty good brand, actually, for all that stuff. And they brought out these NAS devices, and they are a much lower cost. So the barrier of entry is lower, but again, it's not been tested out there by blind people to know how accessible the software is.
Hang on. I don't believe they are lower cost. I
they are. I mean, they're a lot cheaper than. I thought they were the same, but a lot less than the Synologies. No,
they're comparable. The hardware that you're getting for your money is a lot better. The CPU, the memory, the expansion possibilities with NVMe drives, as well as just normal mechanical HDDs, are far better than spec-wise than the Synology, but price-wise, I think it's about the same, if not a little bit more.
Okay. Well, it depends, because they do a lot of sales. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Anyway.
And that's the thing, right? So when it comes to accessibility, that's the untested part. Lots of people who are mainstream reviewers will say, "Oh, it's amazing, it's brilliant, you should just buy one." Yeah, but
can I use it? That's the big question.
Yeah, you might be able to use it. Doesn't mean I can. That's the thing that we always have to fight against. Okay, thank you for that. I really appreciate that. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back, though, with more of your emails.
This is Double Tap. We'll be right back.
Double Tap thanks Turtleback Cases for supporting this podcast and for their decades-long commitment to the blind and low vision community. Since 2003, Turtleback has been the original name behind protective leather cases for note-takers, trusted by thousands and designed with real feedback from real users. Made in the USA, their cases are rugged, ergonomic, and built to last. They offer custom-fitted protection for devices like the Victor Reader Stream 3, Blindshell Classic 3, Mantis Q40, Sense Player, Orbit Reader 20, Focus 40, Braille eMotion, and more. Use promo code DT12 for 12% off your entire order. And yes, they ship worldwide via FedEx, complete with tracking. Visit turtlebacklv.com to see the full lineup.
Get in touch with Double Tap. Email feedback at doubletaponair.com. Leave us a voicemail at 1-877-803-4567. And now you can send an audio or video message to us on WhatsApp. That number is 1-613-481-0144.
Okay, let's get back into the messages and let's go to Trevor.
A really great audiobook player app that works with TalkBack is Simple AP Player by MDMT. I asked Gemini and it said there is not a version for iPhone. When you search for it on Play Store, the graphic is typically a circle with a play arrow in the center, and even if you look for it specifically, it is usually the third or further down the results. The buttons are large and it comes in 2 high contrast settings, which can be easily toggled using the button at the center, bottom of the screen from black on white, or white on black. Load however many files you wish to your download folder or media folder. Tap the list button center, just above the bottom of the screen, to select which files you want to listen to. The player will remember where you stopped listening. It also allows you to set your own bookmarks. There's a button top right of the screen to set bookmarks while listening or paused, and if you access the menu at the bottom right, you can set a bookmark and name it. And if, for whatever reason, you don't want to finish listening to a file or audiobook and don't delete it from the player's memory, the next time you load it back into your downloads and select it from your list, you can access those old bookmarks. On the left side, there is a chapter back, and below that, short jump back buttons. Center is the play pause. On the right, there's a chapter forward, and below that, short jump forward buttons. There's even a delay pause setting on the bottom menu for those who like to fall asleep listening to an audiobook, and it allows you to set the delay pause timer. I found this app 2 phones ago when I was just low vision and liked the big high contrast buttons. Now that my central vision is gone, the large buttons make it easy to use without jabbing on other buttons all the time, as the whole screen is well spaced out. Later on, Trevor.
Thanks, Trevor. Good Android app recommendation there for a book player. I like that.
Not just a recommendation, a quick overview as well. It feels like we need to store that somewhere so someone can come back and listen to that. That was
Are
really
you
good.
suggesting some kind of website or something that people could
some sort of website
Yeah.
with maybe a page where you could type in the app and see if you've got any sort of help or
That sounds
overviews or quick
like
guides.
a wonderful idea. Someone should absolutely get on that.
Someone should. Yes.
Yeah, what are you doing today? What are you doing the weekend, Shaun?
Next email, please.
Speaking of which, if you go to the website, you can catch up with our latest stories, including that big story this week about Soundscape on Android as well. It was interesting. I got an email back from Kirsty McIntosh, who thanked us for being on, allowing her to come back on the show, which of course she's always welcome to. And she was saying that, the downloads have again spiked. So, people are obviously hearing the news and going off and getting it. And I think the key here is that let's make sure we feed back to the good people at the Scottish Tech Army who are doing this. Obviously being mindful that they are all volunteers, but I think there's something kind of wonderful about what they're doing. And
this is a true community project.
It is. Yeah, it really is. Okay, let's move on. Greg is up next.
Hello. After hearing the discussion on mental health, I wanted to point out that in the US, the Foundation Fighting Blindness has a mental health resource centre on their webpage and have established a network of mental health professionals trained specifically to deal with issues related to vision loss. Also, in the US, mental health services are usually covered by your health insurance, including Medicare and Medicaid. Also, embarrassing moments. Last week, I was on a dock, turned round to tell someone offering help that I was quite fine on my own, and promptly fell off the dock into the lake. After swimming back to the dock, I covered up my shame by saying the water was just fine. It's the first time I ever swam with a cane in my hand. Regards, Greg in Pennsylvania.
Oh, I don't mean to laugh, Greg, but oh my. That is funny because I think that there's a great visual there of a blind person swimming with a cane. I think, there's a great video that goes around from time to time, and I can't remember the lady who did it, but there was a video of a blind girl who was showing other sighted people how she drove a car. And she had her cane out of the window of the car, sort of tapping along as the car's moving.
20-foot cane, was
Obviously a joke. Well, an NFB cane, isn't it? And she was doing this, and of course it was very amusing and very funny. I would just have said, this is how I swim. I mean, it makes sense, right? You can avoid the dolphins in the sea and
it's
other
not
things.
that. It's the indignant rage of, do you mind? I'm perfectly independent and capable. Oh, splash. It's that just adds salt to the wound. But we've all been there, Greg. Absolutely. Not a problem.
Happens all the time. The amount of times I've said no to help and then immediately required help and everyone's gone.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
That happens all the time, doesn't it?
Very good. And the mental health issues, absolutely. Get in touch with your local, to you, sight loss organisation. See what resources they can offer. The only thing I will say is I've noticed there's such a demand for these resources, and the waiting list can be quite long. So get on there as soon as you can, because you will be seen eventually, but there could be a wait.
Yeah, the problem is you're dealing with mental health, right? So it's not a case of you could just put yourself on a list. You have to be ready to do it. I mean, I know many people. I know myself. I even today, right? I know that the struggles I go through day to day, and the moment to moment or the week to week. It's not like it's every day, right? For some people it is. For me, I'd say that I have a day where it just hits you. I said it the other week. The I am blind day. And when it hits you, you go through it, you deal with it, however you deal with it. But the idea of calling someone to talk about it, and people have said to me, you should call someone, you should talk to, and I'm like, yeah, but I as a guy who can speak a lot, I think I could probably manage to do a session with I'd probably end up putting the poor person to sleep, but I could certainly talk my way through it, but I'm not. I don't know what I'd say. Do you know what I mean? I have no idea what I'd say to someone at this stage.
But I think that's you recognizing that. Look, we talked about this, recognizing that it still has an impact and it can bring you down, but it's not impacting all the time. It's not hitting that certain level where you think, you know what, I want to talk to someone and I need to talk to someone. When you do hit that point, when you do sit in bed every morning thinking, well, what's the point in getting up, or whatever it may be, then you do reach out anyway. So, and it's important to know that there is places out there and resources out there where you can get in touch.
Yeah, I mean, I get those days, and I don't want to bring the mood down, but it's true. You have those days where you sometimes just wake up in the morning. I don't have those. I wouldn't say I have existential crises in a moment, or that last in a day. It's more kind of long-term thinking. I think about, like, if I was not to do this anymore, what would I do? Genuinely terrifies me sometimes. I'm like, could I honestly go back to the world of corporate? Or could I handle my? I know how much I struggle with some of the basic stuff, the everyday basic.
Again, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, yeah, but for good reason, right? Because you are struggling. It's not like it's just in your head. It's real.
Of course not. Yeah, but there is a tendency to, like, if I'm planning to go somewhere, I always think about the worst thing that's going to happen. This will happen. We catastrophize things all the time, and that's in every aspect because we're always pre-planning of and walking through whatever we're going to do. So yeah, it is an issue, but like I say, it's recognizing that, hey, this is becoming a problem, this is becoming so consistent that I do need help, and there is help out there.
I mean, it's funny, the latest one for me now is with the essential tremors, actually getting to the stage where that's more of my complaint these days, because I go out on a Monday, let's say, and then I can't go out on the Tuesday because the pain I get from that is just unbelievable, right? And so then that means that I have to really think about my week. And if I have 2 or 3 days where I'm out back to back, that is really not going to work out well. It might mean, okay, I need to think about taxis because I'm not going to be able to walk that journey. It's so interesting. And then that kind of takes you into a whole new level of conversation. Although it's slightly different. I feel differently about the hand thing because I feel, well, that's, I don't know, it's just different. I don't think about it in a kind of a, oh, this is me, I'm doomed. I just think more of a, oh, this is something I need to figure out a solution to, which is maybe a guide dog or a glide or whatever it might be.
Yeah, I find a big issue is I just don't want to have to explain why I can't do something or I don't want to do something to other people. Again, I think it's more that, is it social aspect, I suppose I'm saying?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I don't want to explain, you know what, because I went out today, I can't do that tomorrow because I'm exhausted or I just can't face it.
Do you know the guilt I have? Here's the guilt I have. It's when you go out and you meet someone and you think, I had to cancel someone who perhaps came a long way to, not to see me necessarily, but was in the area, right? And I couldn't get out that day to see them. But someone else came a long distance and I did manage to go see them. And then someone talks about it on social media and suddenly you feel guilty because you think,
Yeah.
oh God, I didn't make it to see that person, and I know they're going to be thinking, oh, well, hang on, you could go and do that, but you couldn't do this. And this is the thing, you're constantly blaming yourself for all this stuff. And it's like, but there are reasons. It's not like I'm making it up. And of course, you have this fight mostly with yourself, because if you actually had the conversation with the other person, they'd go, no, it's all right, I get it. Most of the time. I mean, and you know what? Kind of part you have to, I mean, it's like, I talk a lot about taking personal responsibility for ourselves. And I think part of that is sometimes you have to be a little bit selfish in your life. Not totally, but you have to be a little bit selfish, I think. You've got to think about yourself. People say that all the time, right? Think about yourself. Make sure you love yourself. And it's like, yeah, I'm not into that. That thinking's just a bit too airy-fairy for me, right? But I think you have to think about yourself, and I think you have to allow yourself to be a bit selfish and say, do you know what? I need to do what's right for me in this moment, and that's okay. And if someone else doesn't like it, if a friend doesn't like it and gets annoyed about it, do you know what? Maybe they're not a friend. Look, I know, I don't mind saying this publicly, right? I don't mind saying that when you were ill, when you had your fall, I felt really guilty that I couldn't come and see you.
Yeah.
And at that, yes, thank you. And at that time, I was going through some stuff, right? And it was that time. And I was also dealing with a daily show because someone had just abandoned me. And said to Mr. F, let's do the show daily. What could possibly go wrong? Oh, Sean's broke his leg. Brilliant.
Before I rang the
6 months
I
off.
rang you.
I know, that's the funniest bit.
I wouldn't be able to do today's show.
That's how much guilt we feel towards each other. And so it was a moment where I was due to come down and meet you or see you, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I honestly had some kind of, I don't want to say mental health crisis. That feels like I'm really overpowering it or giving it more power than it was.
Do it.
I just couldn't.
Yeah.
I woke up in sweats. I couldn't. It was a feeling I had never had or not had for a while. And I called you, and your response to me was, "It's fine. Don't worry about it."
Mm-hmm.
And I know you mean that, right? I know you mean that. And that's why we're great friends, because I know you mean that. And if anyone else had said, and I've had people in the past say, oh, what, you couldn't make it out. And I feel if they're blind as well, I sometimes think, why don't you get this? You know? But then I suppose it is, we're all in different stages, aren't we?
Yeah. Different personalities, different, whatever expectations. But I find that interesting. You mentioned the difference between, sighted friends and blind friends, because, I find it so much easier to say, we'll arrange something. You know what? If you can't make it, it's fine. Yeah. I mean, we say that to each other all the time, right? We're going to meet up and it's like, you know what? I just can't face it. And it's fine. I sometimes wonder if we do that too much and we're giving each other an easy out. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, we do. Oh, yeah, we do. Yeah. Sometimes you need a bit of a push as well, right?
Yeah.
That's true. Sometimes you need to kind of force yourself to say, you know what, no, I'm going to do this.
Complicated.
But then that can also work against you, right?
Yeah. Again, it's all about levels. If it comes to that point where it's making me, waking up in a sweat and worrying about it that much, that's not a good thing. So, wow, yes. So
what is interesting is
there is help out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, not everywhere. That's kind of the key point, isn't it? That, as you say, and this is the key point.
When you need it.
Well, look, it's there's help out there, yes, but what we're kind of talking about here is specific support for people going through sight loss who have mental health challenges, and that's a bit of a niche that sadly is not being filled. And I think we're finally starting to have a conversation around it. Maybe we're the only ones having it. I don't know. I don't hear many people talk about it. I know it comes up a little bit in some places, but there tends to be a sense of, well, mental health is mental health. And it's like, okay, I don't know if I like the idea of just saying let's just put everything under the banner of mental health. Because what you then end up with is, you may end up meeting someone who just cannot help you. If you get support, you could be put with a counselor or whoever who may not have a clue how to deal with your specific issues or your specific challenges. I will admit some help is better than none, though. So maybe you start somewhere, but
I would hope so.
Don't
I'm not an
whatever
expert,
you do, and I say this from someone who hasn't made a call to any of these services, but there's no shame in it. I'm telling you that right now. There's no shame in it at all. If you need help, get help. I say this to people who have gone through similar, and I say it to them, never to me. It's funny how that works. But, I'll often say, if you broke your leg, you wouldn't sit at home saying, nah, I'm not going to bother anyone with this because, I don't want to upset anybody by telling them I've got a broken leg. You're going to go to a hospital. You're going to get it fixed, right? So It's the same. It's the same with your brain.
There's no
your brain
sense of
needs help.
shame with breaking your leg. That's the thing. As I mentioned earlier about the feeling of being embarrassed to admit, hey, I'm lonely, or I'm isolated, or I find it difficult to socialize and have contact with people. There's no shame in that, but the reality is that we do find it embarrassing. It's true. I was out with the dog really early, and there was someone was walking past me and then stopped and would not acknowledge me. Hello, right, morning.
Right.
Wouldn't acknowledge me, but I knew they were there. I mean, it was just
Sure,
so obvious.
sure about that. Was it? Was that a tree?
No, absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely. But the thing is, it was frightening for a minute. It was, I got a bit, I'm scared here. Would I be able, and I'm, a 6-foot fella, but it's still scary. And it's almost embarrassing to admit that, but it's absolutely true. And, it's the same with, struggling with some issues or daily issues. You shouldn't be embarrassed about it, but yeah, absolutely embrace it. There's nothing wrong with that. Everyone goes through it.
So last week, I went out to meet my good friend Tim Dixon, who's been on the show many times. And he was coming up. He was traveling through as his wife and he and his kids were on holiday and going through Scotland. And I met him in Glasgow for a lovely coffee. We had a really nice chat. And on the Thursday, they were holding an event for Blind Ambition, this UK-based organisation that brings together lots of different blind people, and it's all about supporting and empowering people to do, either to do great things or to, talk about stuff they've done or whatever it might be. And just an interesting group of people, I thought. And I'd met some of them while I was at Sight Village with you in Birmingham earlier in the year. And Tim had invited me along to this particular event because it was going to be in Glasgow and there were some people coming around. And I thought, you know what, I'm really going to try and do this. And in my head, I'd gone out to meet Tim on the Wednesday. And on the Thursday, I'm like, on the way home on the Wednesday, I'm like, right, that's it. I'm done. I'm not going anywhere tomorrow. That is it. I've done my out for the day. I can't do it tomorrow. I'm not doing it. That's it. I'm pleased I've done today. I've done it today. Not doing it tomorrow. And
it's my week's ration.
Yeah, that's it. I've done it. And I've met him and I said I would meet him and I've done it and I enjoyed it and it was great. And that's it. That's it. Box ticked in my head. And then Thursday morning, I woke up and felt really guilty that I wasn't going. And I thought, that's an interesting feeling. Okay, I'm going to go with this. So I thought, you know what? I feel good. Let's just do this. Let's go. And and Tim had said to me clearly, look, if you can't make it, you can't make it, right? Don't worry about it. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to do this. I want to go. I want to prove to myself that I can just jump up and do this. And so I did. And it was really nice. I had a great day. And it's one of those places, I have attended lots of those kind of events as a reporter, as someone who's reporting on a story like this, or perhaps just meeting a bunch of people, almost like an outsider looking in. And it was the first time I was one of the guys sitting on the couch along with everyone else having a conversation. And it was kind of weird, but kind of nice. And I thought, I feel I'm kind of growing into this community myself a little bit here. I feel like I'm starting to relax into it a little bit. Do you know what I mean by that?
Oh, absolutely. Embrace the blindness. Yeah, no, I do know exactly what you mean.
It's really nice. Yeah. I'll tell you who I met. One of our great listeners, Gordon Anthony, had come down. And,
no way, not the G-Man.
I met Gordon and we shook hands and we didn't miss. That was impressive. But yeah, it was really nice to meet him. It was really nice to meet Gordon.
Hug.
Did we do a hug? I don't know if we did actually. No.
Oh.
No, maybe. And well, he's from east of Scotland. I don't think he's a hugger.
Oh, okay. Okay.
He's a real man. He's a real man. But no, it was really nice. It was just great to meet him and just great to meet all the wonderful people I met there that day. Helen and everyone, Gordon and all the wonderful
Name check
people.
Everyone.
I know, I'm trying to think of all the people I met.
And shame.
And by the way, we met at a great place, by the way, a little mention for them. And we're going to get them on the show at some point. There's a group there in Edinburgh, based in Glasgow, actually, but also in Edinburgh now, called Triple Tap Tech. They did not steal our name. No. They were there first. We actually said this. Double tap means triple tap. Now we need to set up a single tap somewhere, and we've got the set. Quadruple tap is on the way. But
of course.
Triple Tap Tech is the name of the organisation, and these are guys, Fraser and Graham, who put out, not put out, but actually go out and talk to people in their homes about their technology. We often say the challenge is getting access to information, but also access to learning. That's their job.
Yep.
They go out there and actually, meet people. They'll also provide advice over Zoom, and they can talk to you wherever you are. Primarily Scotland based, but if you're ever looking for any help or you're struggling, so a resource to know about. Triple Tap Tech is who to search for. Just a really great bunch of people.
Yeah, I have heard of them before. So very good. Well done, Stephen Scott, for going. Anyway.
There you go. I'm a hero in my own head. Right, let's move on. Gregory is excited.
Exciting times ahead with Be My Eyes. Hey, Stephen and Shaun. I hope you're both doing splendidly and having a blast with the Double Tap podcast. I'm writing to share some thrilling news that has me buzzing with excitement. The phenomenal growth of the Be My Eyes app. This app is about to revolutionize my life as a 65-year-old blind person, and I couldn't be more thrilled. You see, I've been testing out all sorts of smart glasses, trying to figure out which pair to wear at different times of the day and for various situations. Should I don my dark lenses to go with my blind garb? Or should I sport my clear lenses to show the sighted world that I have real eyeballs? Decisions. But the real game changer is the upcoming real-time video feature with Be My Eyes. Can you imagine the possibilities? I'll be heading to the club, ready to pick out a hottie to dance with on the dance floor. Shopping for that perfect hat or shirt for my nights on the party scene will be a breeze. I'll even be critiquing my friends' poor fashion choices with confidence, knowing what I'm talking about. And it doesn't stop there. Getting to the front of the line at the beer tent this summer will be a cinch. Be My Eyes is truly helping us blind folks become part of everything the sighted world takes for granted every day. It's a good time to be blind, and I can't wait to embrace all these newfound freedoms. Thank you both for all the fun and informative content you provide. Keep up the amazing work, and I'll be tuning in for more. Just keep doing all the great stuff. Banter, laughs, waffling, and the great tech info. Cheers, Gregory.
Gregory's happy, isn't he?
He is happy. I'm not surprised. He's off to the club and then off shopping for whatever, clothes. Okay, it's funny, isn't it? Because you kind of forget, you get used to, Be My Eyes, of course. Who doesn't know about Be My Eyes? But then you hear someone who's sort of using it for the first time. And actually, Gregory isn't the only one. There was someone the other day, I can't remember how I got in contact with them, but of course I was saying, well, if you want to do that, you could use, Be My Eyes or Ira. And they didn't have a clue what I was talking about. And you get so blasé about everyone knows about. And of course they don't. And it, for the first time, I remember, when we first heard about Ira and Be My Eyes, it was, this is amazing. This is a game changer. And they truly are.
Final words goes to Charles.
Hello, double tappers. Stephen, you are a radio guy, and you have mentioned that you don't like the radio as it is today, specifically the music that's on the radio today, if I understand you correctly.
Yep.
And I know this isn't a tech question or a blind question specifically, but what is the problem, Stephen Scott? What's wrong with today's music? What do you not like? I want the rant. I want the 411. Give me the skinny. I want to know, Stephen Scott, what is wrong with today's music, in your opinion? Let us hear it. And then, if you guys are willing, I would like to submit a challenge to the Double Tap community of everybody who wishes to submits one song and only one song, because we're already burying these guys in messages. Sorry, not sorry. That Stephen Scott might like. And we have a little contest. Nothing, no prizes, no prizes. Gold trophy, no $1 million. Just, can we find a song in the modern era, maybe, I don't know, the last 10 years, let's say, that Stephen Scott would appreciate? What do you guys think? Are you up for the challenge? Are you up for the challenge, Stephen Scott?
No, not at all. Definitely not. Not happening. This question is not about tech or about blindness. Let me just check in. Is that allowed?
Yes.
He says yes.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
How long have we got left here? I mean,
a couple of minutes.
Are you really going to rant about what's wrong with today's modern music, Stephen Scott?
It's just rubbish. Just noise.
Come on. That's an age thing, isn't it?
It's all either depressing, it's all, my life is terrible, or it's bang, 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 bang. And that's it, really. That's your choices. All rubbish.
Oh, yeah. Not like your favourite country music, obviously, which is all upbeat and happy, isn't it?
Can I tell a little story before we go? I got to tell you, I got very excited because I learned of a lady called Sabrina Carpenter. And I thought, someone from the Carpenters family. I love the Carpenters.
Why do birds suddenly appear? That's
Can I
enough.
tell you, she is absolutely not Karen Carpenter. I
Okay,
learned this.
Who is she?
She is a modern songstress.
And therefore totally dismissed in your view, Stephen
Actually, I will say
Your modern
one or
words.
two of her songs did pique my interest. Had a bit of a country-esque
At the times.
style. But, that's about the height of it, to be honest. I have no idea who any of these people are. I would pass them by in the street, as I'm sure they'd pass me by. No idea. And if you ever come on this show and say 411 again, unless it's an area code, I don't want to hear it. I don't even know what that means.
411. What's the information, I believe?
Why is it
That's
called
like our
411?
118,
What does that mean?
118 over here used to be.
Oh, really? Is that a number you dial?
Yes.
Oh.
So
Things you learn.
give us a quick example of a modern song that you do actually like then.
I just did.
What, Sabrina?
Karen Carpenter's long lost child. Sabrina Carpenter. Yes, that's the one. That's the only. And I say I like. I mean, not all of it, obviously, because most of it's.
Well, you can't give that as an
garbage.
example by saying, well, not all of it was great, but the first
It's
two notes were fine.
I'm too old. I want to listen to
You're
the Eagles. I want to just
10
listen
years
to Neil
younger than
Sedaka.
me,
Leave me
man.
alone.
All right. There is a sense of that. I still listen to everything from the 80s and all my 80s rock, Def Leppard and all that. Because
Yeah.
it's just what I like, yeah. Although I will say, new stuff, check out Ren. I love Ren at the minute. And talking about mental health, listen to Hi Ren. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Hi, Ren.
There you go. Thank you.
Is that their mention done? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Should we get out of here? It's the weekend. What are you planning?
I think so, yeah. We need to celebrate.
I know.
Season number 9.
Well, I will
Thank
celebrate
you.
with a can
Thank
of
you.
iron brew whilst
I got that
munching
the other
through my
day.
haggis. Oh, did you like it?
Disgusting.
Oh.
No, it was absolutely, even the kids wouldn't have it. It was disgusting. Thrown in the bin. I should have sent it to you. Sorry.
You're an absolute disgrace to humanity. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll catch you. Of course, don't forget the Double Tap Extra for more, and we'll catch you Monday.
Thank you. Bye-bye.